Hey everyone, if you've ever wanted to turn your old 3D printer scraps into fresh filament without buying new spools every time, this might be the upgrade you've been waiting for. I'm talking about the 3dpany C1 Extruder Maker. It's a desktop machine that takes your failed prints, supports, and leftover bits and turns them back into usable 1.75mm filament. And if you're curious about the specs or want to see current pricing, the link is in the description. Now, why would you actually need something like this? Well, if you print a lot, you end up with a pile of broken or unwanted parts. Instead of tossing them or storing them forever, the C1 lets you feed that plastic right back into the system and get new filament out. It's not just eco-friendly, it saves you money over time. I've seen people go through hundreds of dollars in filament in a few months, so being able to recycle even a portion of that makes a real difference. The machine itself is pretty straightforward. You load your shredded or chopped plastic into the hopper, set the temperature based on the material, say, PLA or PETG, and let it run. The C1 heats, extrudes, and winds the filament onto a spool automatically. It can handle up to 400 grams per hour, which is pretty decent for a desktop unit. I've used it with both new and recycled filament, and the quality is surprisingly consistent. The filament comes out smooth and round, with minimal stringing or diameter variation. That's important because if your recycled filament is inconsistent, it can clog your printer or mess up your prints. One thing I really like is how customizable it is. You're not stuck with whatever color or type of plastic you have lying around. You can mix different colors or even different types of plastic, though you do have to be careful with mixing incompatible materials. For example, mixing PLA with ABS can lead to weak or brittle filament. But if you're just recycling the same type of plastic, it works great. I've made custom neon green filament from old failed prints, and it printed beautifully on my Ender 3. That kind of personalization is pretty cool if you're into custom projects or just want to experiment. Another practical benefit is the cost savings. A new spool of high-quality filament can run $25 to $40, depending on the brand and material. If you're printing regularly, that adds up fast. With the C1, your raw material is essentially free, just your failed prints or leftover scraps. Over time, that can pay for the machine itself. I've heard from users who've recouped the cost in just a few months of regular use. That's not even counting the environmental impact, which is a bonus if you're trying to reduce waste. The setup is pretty beginner-friendly too. It comes with most of what you need, including a spool holder and some basic tools. The instructions are clear, and the interface is simple, just a few buttons to control temperature and speed. I had mine up and running within about 20 minutes of unboxing. There's a small learning curve when it comes to shredding or chopping your plastic into the right size pieces, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty smooth sailing. Now, it's not perfect. The shredder attachment that comes with it is a bit flimsy. It works, but if you're planning to process a lot of material, you might want to upgrade to a sturdier shredder or just chop the plastic manually with scissors. Also, the noise level is noticeable. It's not super loud, but it's not quiet either. If you're working in a shared space, you might want to plan around that. And while the filament quality is good, it's not quite as smooth as commercial filament. You might need to do a little post-processing, like sanding or using a filament cleaner, to get it perfectly smooth. All in all, if you're someone who prints a lot and wants to cut down on filament costs while reducing waste, the 3dpany C1 is a solid investment. It's not going to replace your regular filament spools, but it's a great way to supplement your printing and give your old prints a second life. The learning curve is minimal, and once you get the hang of it, you'll wonder why you didn't try this sooner. If you're interested in checking it out, the link is below. Let me know in the comments if you've tried recycling your own filament or if you have any tips. I'd love to hear your experiences. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.